Gravy. Alright, let's go to E3 2011. So a little background for E3 2011 for me personally. So I wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning or something like that. I do the 3DS update. I get access to the eShop. I download Super Mario Land. I'm able to play Super Mario Land for the first time since like maybe 2000. And then I see this game Alleyway. I'm like, are you kidding me? Which I happen to now own the cartridge of. It's sitting right here on my desk. This is the copy I play when I play Alleyway on stream. But I'm like, are you kidding me? There was a Breakout clone that launched with Game Boy and I never even heard of it. And I'm the only person on the face of the planet Earth that genuinely likes it. So the whole time, I pick up my crew, some people I knew at the time. I forgot if was Pete with me that time. I forgot who was with me exactly, but so I'm on the train at 5 in the morning, heading into New York City. Playing Super Mario Land on a handheld for the first time since like the late '90s at the latest probably, and I've got discovering Alleyway, an early launch Game Boy game I didn't even know existed, and yeah, a lot of people nowadays do not look back on it fondly. Richard Macuzzi, Review Tech USA, actually did a retrospective on the Game Boy launch games recently. He did not speak fondly of Alleyway, and he was actually recording the footage live. And in the stream, I was like, oh, finally, someone's playing Alleyway on stream. A major streamer's playing Alleyway live, and they're like, oh, they thought I was being ironic. I was not aware that they announced a new Arkanoid game. I don't expect I'll have copyright problems with this. Yeah, so this is the same theater as the year before. So this time around, they're actually using the, they're actually using, what is it? They're actually using the orchestra pit, how it's supposed to be, because that platform that they had all the Wii demo units on with Skyward Sword the previous year, that was actually a way to that was a creative use of the orchestra pit, which is on an elevated like a rising and descending platform. I mean, it's good. But it's extremely basic. It is extremely basic. So I can appreciate the frustration or lack of interest. But I'm going to go off camera for a moment, and I will be back during the rest of this. I'll be back soon. Now, I'm just going to drop a credit from some of my artists there. And where is... It's better than having an empty chair there. Now, where is... Oh, you've got to be here somewhere. Where are... Why don't I... It's not on here. Oh, well, I'll just have to, Chatbox timer, VHS video, face cam, the timer, my Pokemon binder, the TV frame. Yeah, where is Lunarian H eating crepes? Okay, that's just not here, so you're just gonna have to... Oh, you actually got to attend one of these. That's awesome. So I'll be back in a moment. I'm just gonna be off camera briefly. And by the way, actually, no, excuse me. I said that for nothing, because this is a 16:9 press conference, and in the 16:9 layout, I have my little artwork there. So I'll be back in a moment. You don't have to stare at an empty chair. Alright, I'm back on mic, and I am back on camera. Right in time for the end. I didn't plan to... This may not be the very best E3 ever, but it is the coolest stage they have ever had. This set is amazing.
Miyamoto.
This orchestra is loud. No, so you went to the Zelda Symphony twice. That's like how I went to go see Phantom of the Opera on Broadway twice, and the second time it was a different actor portraying the Phantom. So, and I wasn't quite as good, but but it was still a great show both times.
Okay. I'd like to ask Mr. Bill Toynen from Nintendo
All right.
to translate for me.
All right, that should be good volume. If the volume needs to be adjusted,
Ready?
just go ahead and let me know, and I'll go ahead and adjust that volume for you.
去年はね、
So
スーパーマリオ
last year
25周
was
年
the 25th anniversary of the Super Mario Brothers series.
で今年はゼル
This
ダの
year
25
is
周
the 25th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda.
年8ビットの、ね、NES で
Now,
作
since
り
we
始めてか
first
ら
released this game
ハードは
back
ど
in
んどん
the
こう進
8-bit
化して
NES days,
それに
the
沿ってグラフィ
gameplay
ックも
and the
ゲーム
visuals
も進化してきま
have
した
constantly evolved with each new hardware
で
system.
この音楽も進化してきました
And
ね
so has the music.
曲の最後の方に演奏されたの
Now,
は
the
どんどん
song that you
スカイ
heard
ウォ
at
ード
the
ソー
end
ド
of
の
the
テーマ
piece
なんですけど
performed by the orchestra today
今毎日
was
仕
the
事で
theme
もずっ
song
と
for
聴い
The
てるん
Legend
です
of
ね
Zelda Skyward Sword. I'm used to hearing it at work every day now, but to hear it performed by an orchestra like
すごい
this
ねこう響きます
in
ね
a hall like this is exhilarating.
ゼルダの伝説にはねこの音楽が欠かせなく
Now,
て
music is
Oh,
an
we got the
indispensable piece of
Jack,
The Legend of
and we
Zelda.
got the Queen.
The feelings you get when
Can
you
we
solve a
get
puzzle
the
or
full
open a
royal
treasure
flush
chest
on the
or
lower
are helped
table
by
of the
fairies
pinball
are in
board?
part created by the
No,
music.
we cannot. We lost the ball. Doggone.
あのリンクが使うアイ
And
テ
of
ム
course,
にもよ
Link
く
has
楽器を使
often
いますね
used
お書いてあった
a musical instrument as an important item in
I have no idea what that is. I don't know if that's subliminal brainwashing signals from Mars or
We
what,
have a
but
full orchestra here today,
せっ
a
かく
very
なので
talented one.
この効
I
果
think
を
we should ask them to play some of these songs live for us.
皆さんも今日はライブで
What do you
効果を
think?
聞けますじゃあ謎解き正解音いきましょうか
Okay, let's start simple with the chime for solving a puzzle.
And now here's something funny. I noticed this. I actually watched this just a couple months ago on Silver's stream. But when he says when Miyamoto's like Bill Trent says, "Oh, the theme for getting an item," Miyamoto just literally just says, "Item get," which is I found amusing. I just want to check, make sure I'm not dropping any frames.
That feels nice.
はいいいですねじゃあ次はね宝箱開けてみましょう
Typically, I wouldn't have paused that there,
An
but
item.
I didn't want it to miss the music.
ちょっと短かった
That was a
All
little
right, we're not dropping any frames.
妖精の泉なんだ
How about the melody from A Fairy's Fountain? Isn't that nice?
He knows how to like actually direct the conductor to
We should
stop
do,
the orchestra.
Singing item one last time.
今度はねしっかりね
This one with the full orchestra.
This one, there's a little miscommunication here.
Oh,
Oops.
アイテムゲットね
there we go.
There we go. They started doing the fairy theme again.
Very nice. Very nice.
そうですねはい気持ちいいですね本当
Yeah, it's kind of funny how
Thank you very much.
in the previous year's E3, the fact that they used the rising and descending orchestra pit to reveal the Zelda
For remembering these simple
demo stations at the end, so people could try Skyward Sword.
さあこのね
Uh,
So,
after the disastrous onstage demonstration, really like salvage that E3, and then the following year they use it for something else that's totally awesome. They use it for actual orchestra pit. Yeah, you have to go back to the early to mid 90s to see Miyamoto look significantly younger than he does today. He's one of those kind of guys that like he's looked 50 years old since he was about 30, but he hasn't aged any more since then. So it's actually worked out pretty good for him.
Now this is a game that we created, perhaps.
Zelda's Link's Awakening on the OG Game Boy. That was my first Zelda myself, actually.
I think it's great for people who are playing Zelda for the first time because from it they can learn the basics of Zelda gameplay. And then starting next weekend.
Oh, and after this E3 presentation, so at a little less than an hour from now, we are going to do our midstream break, which is going to be 15 minutes instead of 10, but I've got a lot of vintage commercials that'll be running, like yesterday, which is going to be cool.
So now that it's on Nintendo 3DS, the frame rate has been improved, the graphics have been revamped, and it feels great. There's a new sense of realism when you're riding your horse through the sweeping scenery of Hyrule. Now, for those of you who are playing it for the first time, we've included hint movies to help you along the way if you need it. And for those of you who have played the game in the past, we have included the mirrored Legend of Zelda Master Quest mode. And we've also added a boss challenge.
Yeah, and I never played Link's Awakening DX. I've got to play the original black and white version, me personally.
In September,
It's like playing the Game Boy Color version of Link's Awakening to me would be like watching a colorized classic movie. It's like watching the
that we're going to make available
the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari in color. It's like it's just wrong to me. It just doesn't feel right.
So because this is a 4-player Zelda game, we hope you will gather all of your friends together. And then finally, we will be launching The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. This will be out worldwide this holiday season for Wii. It's finally done. Now the game is going to use Wii Motion Plus to swing your sword, and it's also going to help make using items like the bow and arrow simpler. And so, in honor of this, we're going to create a special...
You know, I've had the new Link's Awakening since it came out. I have not played it yet. I wanted to save it for on stream because I want to maybe do like a streams where I do maybe 2 hours of the OG Link's Awakening, which I have not played through in its entirety since the 90s, and then play a couple hours of the remake and play them side by side. I think that would be really fun. And that's why I've been saving Link's Awakening on Switch all this time.
Perhaps you've noticed, but I feel like my arm's gotten a little stronger. It's great exercise.
Yeah, Skyward Sword is still not out at this point. It will come out later this year, in 2011.
And I think that we're going to be able to deliver to
I have an idea to do something similar with Pokemon, actually.
of any game in the series.
Because I have Fire Red Leaf Green, and I have not played through... I only played through about up to Cerulean City, and I never played the game back in the day. I only got Pokemon Leaf Green in 2016 or 17, because I wanted some stuff to do it with my Game Boy Micro. Something to play on that system while I was on the train. Without having to lug around the 3DS everywhere I went.
We also have an orchestra here
If
today.
Nintendo announces as some kind of E3 substitution direct, I do plan on streaming it if I'm able to responsibly do so.
Symphony concerts.
I'll be working with a major client next week, so I might not be available after all, but I'll try to make something work if it
Let's give a big
comes
round
to
of applause
happen.
for our orchestra today.
At the very least, I'll be able to record my live reaction. You know, earlier this stream, if you look back in the VOD, I did a replay of my live reaction to Metroid Other M,
In the fall, and
which I actually recorded
announcements.
with Rob 999 back in the day, because earlier we watched E3 2009, and at the tail end of that, after that I was like, okay, let's do,
Additionally, we're preparing 2 music CDs. The first is the Legend of Zelda.
I got whatever CD came for free with Skyward Sword.
And this is going to be made available as a gift to those who are among the first to register the game with of Nintendo.
それからもう一つの CD は
The other CD that we're working on
このフルオーケストラの
is going to be
スカイウォ
based
ードソー
on
ド
the Legend of Zelda 25th Anniversary Symphony Concerts
でこれをスカイウォード
and
の
will be
販売の
used in
時に
conjunction with
There we
the
go.
release of Skyward Sword.
楽しみにしてください
So you can look forward to that as well.
他にもねいくつかプランを考えてるんですけどまだそれは
We're also planning a number of other events and activities to celebrate the 25th anniversary.
Hey,
of
thank you,
Concerts.
Bubbles, for saving our ball.
Later this year.
でこの25年間
So, for the last 25 years, the Legend of Zelda series has been supported by an incredibly large.
Oh, yes, we got back onto the upper table. How about that? We just barely had... no, we didn't last long, but we just barely had enough momentum to get back up there.
恵まれて本当
And
に幸せでした
I have been truly
Oh,
honored to be able
and we
to work
lost the
with
ball.
such talented people.
で今日ねそのうち何人か来てくれてるので
And we have several of them here today, so I would like to invite them on stage as well.
手塚さんはねもう
First
スーパーマ
is
リオの頃から
Takashi Tezuka.
仕事をしてますだから小泉さんは
Not Osamu Tezuka. Different Tezuka there. No, for a split second, I was like Osamu Tezuka? Like, no. That's the other
And more recently on the Super Mario Galaxy series.
creator of things I like called Tezuka.
And I think perhaps you all know Eiji Aonuma, who is the producer of the Legend of Zelda series.
はいただねやっぱり一番大事なのは世
But
界中でこのゲ
what's
ームを
most
遊んでくれた
important
皆さん
in all of this are all of the fans who have played the Legend of Zelda over
No,
くれる皆さん
no,
So all of
Tezuka
you
and Koizumi are kind of like the main Mario guys aside from Miyamoto himself.
to end this section of our presentation.
どうもありがとうございます
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and of course everyone knows by now this song is actually for the main the main phrase of this song is Zelda's Lullaby in reverse. Woo! No, he's a creator and he has a major role, but it's mostly advisory at this point. It's Mr. Tezuka and Mr. Koizumi who are really taking the lead, as I understand.
Satoru Iwata.
Wait, I had to turn the sound way down, but then when Iwata comes out, I'm probably gonna have to turn the sound back up because, like every year, from 2003 all the way to 2011 here. Yes, he's so quiet. Even with the amplification, his voice is always so quiet.
We stated a goal of expanding the gaming population. And today, we have seen changes in who play, where we play, and most importantly, how we play. The boundaries that once divided players by age group or personality, or even by gender, are starting to be erased. But mental boundaries still exist in how game systems are defined. Some hardware is seen as appropriate for only the most active, passionate players. Others, like we, they say, seem to attract a large number of more casual gamers. As an industry, what we haven't achieved yet is a game
There we
platform
go.
that is equally
And it's
satisfying
sad because
for all players.
you could argue that
Yet,
Nintendo didn't really nail this to the way they wanted to until the Switch.
with our new home platform.
And okay, I just want to pause there. So, this is infamous. Okay, I just want to point out here. Iwata, Reggie, Miyamoto, and other people who come out on stage refer to Wii U as a new console, a new platform, and a new system. A total of exactly 30 separate times. 30 separate times they call it a new platform, a new console, and a new system. And even with that, they still had people in the theater right next to me at the Nintendo store saying, oh, it's not a real new system, it's just a new controller for the Wii. How did they make a controller that could add HD to the Wii? Like, I mean, it made no sense. I felt like I was the only person who understood what they intended to communicate. But let's, moving forward.
I will suggest 2 words: deeper and wider. The new platform will provide deeper game experiences than what even the most passionate gamer has realized before. And it will offer wider appeal to gamers, wider even than for Wii. And as you will begin to understand this week, it will let everyone see games in a different way. We are going to leave the full details for a little later this morning, but I wanted you to understand that for Nintendo, the goal of innovation is to serve every player, even though each brings to video games an individual appetite, a personal passion, and a distinct gaming history. I believe our new platform represents a major step toward reaching our goal. However, our new home console is a product.
New home console, you said it right there.
This year, there are bold new experiences coming for Nintendo 3DS, and several of the franchises you know so well are moving into 3D.
Look at how awesome this stage is. It's a great reveal for every one of these games. Like, look how three-dimensional that looks. And that's so, the way they played with the perspective, the different layers and panels within the stage. Hey, said the meme. And the second, like, this was, like, so... This, like, when I realized, like, this is the new main theme, like... And the fact that Mario would... this game would bring back the raccoon suit, or the Tanuki suit, was something that they teased in March earlier this year. In 2011. Yeah, that was a great way to introduce that all those games are happening, and that they're doing a sequel to Luigi's Mansion.
Of Nintendo of America, Reggie Fils-Aimé.
And here's Reggie.
Look, we hear you. You want what you've always wanted, but you also want something new. You want to play things and things to look like they always have.
I never played Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon.
You want comfort.
Yeah, I just haven't played it. I like the first one. The first one was enough for me. I haven't played it since 2001, though, but...
They come with the
Well, actually, it's more like early 2002, but...
But is it fair to ask, and is it even possible to deliver something for everyone? Well, as Mr. Iwata suggested, with our new home
Yeah, when they ported Luigi's Mansion to 3DS late in the system's lifespan, wasn't that version 2D only.
And that's coming in
Because a lot of those later 2DS, the ports to
things that matter
to 3DS, when they were porting like Kirby and Yoshi games to 3DS and Luigi, a lot of those games they weren't they 2D only? Was Luigi's Mansion one of those 2D only titles?
ones to show you this week. On the show floor, you'll see these.
Well, the thing is, they could have
But here on stage, of course,
they could have had it release in 3D and have it still be fully playable on 2DS. But what really annoys me about the fact that Luigi's Mansion on 3DS being 2D only is the fact that the original Luigi's Mansion was there were 3D prototype versions of the first Luigi's Mansion, because the GameCube did have some 3D dedicated circuitry to it. Nintendo just never used it for anything. So they were prototype versions of Luigi's Mansion that did have stereoscopic 3D options. So when they bring the original Luigi's Mansion to a system that has native stereoscopic 3D in it, and they don't add stereoscopic 3D to it, that's just so cruel to me. Like, that's just one of those, like, oh, that's so rotten almost. And in general, I didn't care if a game was 2D only, especially those later games. But yeah, the Mario Kart 3DS, I spent a lot of time playing this. This was a great... This is actually the last Mario Kart game that I got until Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch. I don't know why, but I just noticed the fact that the clam's eyes are on top of the shell. You got 8 and 8DX, never bothered to play 7, go play 7 after? Yeah, I never even played regular Kart 8. I never didn't get it on Wii U, so when it came out on Switch, it was a brand new game to me with more stuff in it.
this entirely new Mario Kart races into the stores this holiday season. In 1993, Nintendo created a video game that many said made them feel like they were flying in 3D. Now,
You got 8 on Wii U because of the digital deluxe download thing?
and with Nintendo's
And you got Wind Waker HD out of it?
time that
If I played... Yeah, I guess I would have to play Wind Waker HD if I was going to play that game on stream, so...
had a choice to make.
You know, it's funny, I always wanted a remaster of Star Fox 64, but I was just more than satisfied with what I already had on 3DS at that point. And mind you, that was at a time when there wasn't a lot of stuff going on the 3DS, so...
Itself does exactly the same thing for your fighter. It turns and climbs and dives when you do. And there's something fun coming to group play too. Yes, the faces and voices of your fellow pilots are still there, but this time they're real. The Nintendo 3DS cameras record every reaction.
And the thing is, they're talking about the cameras on the 3DS recording your face, but it's like... It's only local multiplayer anyway, so the appeal, I think, is kind of
Or going down in
minimal.
flames, it'll all be there for you to watch. Soaring and banking in real 3D arrives in U.S. stores this September. Next, if it's true that software sells hardware, then it's also true that no franchise has sold more systems than Mario. So get ready, he's coming to Nintendo 3DS.
Yep. Now, this was one of those magical moments to me.
Millions ran
Just to
Mario
see,
in
like...
3D environments.
Well, first off, the first 3D Mario on a handheld, the first original 3D Mario on a handheld, as Reggie is saying,
Created from scratch for a portable system.
and then the fact that they're going right
And
back
once you
to...
played Super Mario 3D,
I mean, Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 were already going towards that direction of linearization of 3D Mario, but this really embraced it fully, was flat out, okay, here it is, quintessential, classic, like, Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, 3 type Mario, but... Well, actually, Mario Brothers 1 and 3 type Mario, to be more strictly speaking, but in a linear 3D environment. And it's funny because if you think of it logically, this is what Mario 64 on Nintendo 64 should have been. Like, if the fact that Mario 64 was the game we got was almost like they skipped an entire generation of game design theory. Because going straight from Super Mario World, you'd think that doing a 3D platformer, you'd take the linear approach like this. And the fact that they didn't was so interesting. And I always felt like there was kind of, like they needed to go back and explore what a linear design theory could do for 3D Mario, and they did, and I'm really happy that they did. Well, the original plan, I mean, they kind of just started going straight into doing the free roaming design of Mario 64. Yeah, and they're trying to do multiplayer stuff. They really couldn't make it work out in those free roaming environments. No, Super Mario 3D Land was the final name, and the prototype version, they just called it Super Mario.
Players get a chance to play before the year is over.
And Reggie called it Super Mario 3D, but officially it just said Super
All of
Mario.
you came away satisfied, knowing at last that Kid Icarus was returning. This E3, Mr. Sakurai and Project Sora are happy to provide more details.
Yeah, the that fixed mode that I only played with a couple of times. And
Sorry I'm late. I had other business to attend to.
Wait, you two know each other?
And it's funny because what they showed there was actually that entire cutscene in the game. Yeah, that was the entirety of the cutscene. It's not like we're in medias res and or missed out on a couple of things. They just sort of show that.
These are underworld troops. Are you saying Medusa's been
Resurrected, yes. Though the goddess of darkness was defeated long ago, we obviously can't underestimate her powers.
Yeah, it's crazy that some of like when you go into Mario 3D Super Mario 64's debug mode with like Game Shark, and there's some missing levels. It's kind of insane that at this point we've actually since recovered those missing levels and know what they were now. No one would have dreamed something like that would happen, and it had. And it's crazy because that happened at about the time I was streaming Mario 64 on Twitch. And it was also during the same time that there were a lot of like memes and this sort of cultural element going on in the gaming community of like haunted versions of Mario 64, and the whole creepypasta of Mario 64 is personalized for your own personal brain waves and everything like that. And so for all this lost Mario 64 beta content to come out around then, resembling a lot of this creepypasta stuff, was incredible. Speaking of Medusa, I believe Cree Summer, the famous voice actress, did the voice over work for Medusa in the final version of the game.
Battling with Pit on both land and in the air is going to be great. But it gets better. This week on the show floor, you'll be scoring off against several...
Scoring off. The final version of this multiplayer mode ended up being online capable, which a lot of people were not expecting Nintendo to go as far as to do, but thank goodness they did. I never played it myself, but I know Pete Dorr here on Twitch has a lot of stories about doing those multiplayer circuits.
The uprising comes to retail later this year. And finally, let's talk about that new game announcement. Make no mistake, the first brother of video games is back.
Yeah.
And he's got his vacuum.
It's so wild how Luigi's Mansion arguably single-handedly recharacterized Luigi. Because the only, I guess, real distinct characterization for Luigi was in, I guess, the North American DiC cartoons, you could argue. And in different adaptations of Mario, like the Super Mario Brothers anime movie and stuff like that. But because from Luigi's Mansion onward, Luigi's main character gimmick was that he's afraid of ghosts. And it's kind of ironic that Luigi's Mansion causes him to be characterized as a coward when the whole point of Luigi's Mansion was that he was standing up to his fears and actually fighting and winning against the ghosts, but whatever. Nya nya. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's cool that they branched out and had these different, smaller, different themed mansions, but I just like the generic stock haunted house aesthetic of the first game, and the haunted hotel sort of theming of the final game was a good way to sort of follow up on that without just rehashing
Luigi's
everything.
Mansion 2 is not a simple revision. It's an
Yeah, the Smash Brothers trailer. Luigi died! Ah!
primary use of 3D and featuring not just one, but several new mansions.
Yeah.
When we first
Well,
announced Nintendo
game over.
3DS a year ago, we said that a wide range of third-party developers were already hard at work on games.
Yeah, I have the pinball playfield cropped down to just the table. I'm not even paying attention to my score. I'm not doing those high score grinds like before. I am really just doing this just as a... I mean, it's either mess around in pinball or mess with my spinner or my my Tangle Relax Therapy, which I don't think they even make anymore, so I'm taking especially good care of this. Then I also have this thingy. I don't even know what this is supposed to be. It's not a puzzle, but why is the video jumping like that? And by the way, here is the copy I'm using of the... Yeah, I never thought of that missed opportunity to call it Dark Moon Luigi's Mansions. That's not the stream, that's just the video. That's just the video. Yeah, that's their video. That's on the video I'm watching. And the reason I'm watching these videos is because all of the copyright triggering music has been pre-muted on these videos. What is going... I want to... Let's skip this montage.
With a 3D makeover.
Oh, you know what? They did that on purpose to not have the music trigger the copyright stuff. They did that intentionally. Excuse me. Or if you were lucky, you didn't get Resident Evil Revelations, but Resident Evil Revelations.
Excitebike is now 27 years old. It doesn't get much more retro than that, but it's still a blast. But maybe the biggest download news for Nintendo 3DS concerns one of the biggest franchises in video games.
Yeah, Excitebike is now
Pokemon.
38 years old, or 80 years old, because I have my camera inverted here.
Not only in 3D, but also in the real world. Owners of the Pokemon Black and Pokemon White versions are familiar with the Pokedex, an item given to them in the game that registers and indexes.
I ended up getting the standalone Pro version of this. I got Pokedex 3D Pro thinking that they were actually going to update the app with the new generations of Pokemon that they're adding, and they never did, which was incredible to me. One cool thing is they got the voice actor who voiced the Pokedex in the early Pokemon anime to come back to say the names of all the Pokemon in Pokedex 3D, which was really cool. But I think part of the reason this existed is because I think Game Freak wanted to have a stock set of 3D models for all the Pokemon. And they did use these stock models in the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games for 3DS. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon being a world and setting I'm in love with, and in spite of all of that, I don't like the gameplay. Like, if they made a game and set in the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon universe that had traditional turn-based RPG gameplay instead of the roguelike mechanics, I would love that game to death. And I say that a game set in the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon world, but Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is in and of itself the genre of the game, because it's based on the Mystery Dungeon roguelike series, of which Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is like a spin-off of. But yeah, I wish they made a game and a world of just like talking Pokemon living in sort of like, 15th century like quote quasi-medieval fantasy village type things. But yeah, unfortunately.
3DS means social. It means connection. It redefines interaction, and it delivers it all in full 3D display. Of course.
So we're about halfway through the presentation at this point, so we're probably getting on the Wii U material soon.
Proper introduction to a new gaming remember how the Wii name began
Oh
to make
boy.
perfect sense
Oh boy.
once you started hearing it as Wii.
Oh boy.
It was clear how much
And I want to be clear. At the Nintendo E3 at the Nintendo World Store, everyone in that building knew that they were going to reveal the new Nintendo console, the new successor to Wii. And this introduction to the system was so confusing that hardcore gaming fans, people who were like following all the news and rumors, knew the new console was going to be there, somehow were misled into thinking that this was just a new controller for the Wii. And I think it was, I'm not going to mention their name out of respect, right? But someone, a bunch of Nintendo fanboys on YouTube were doing a live reaction to the presentation. And when it says, you know, in the video we're going to see in a few minutes, oh, only on the new controller, they're like, aha, you guys, like, you rumor mongers suck. It's not a new system, it's a new controller. That's what you get for starting stupid rumors. And then they started chanting, it was so embarrassing for them, they started chanting, aha, only a new controller, there's no new systems, go F yourselves, and, like, making total fools of themselves. And they eventually deleted the video. It was really bad.
we all had playing together,
Oh, boy.
even with people who weren't gamers before.
And they just went through the same problem with the launch of the 3DS, where people thought it was a new version of Nintendo DS and not a full-fledged successor platform. They just went through the same problem with the 3DS, and they jump right back into the same briar patch again. Oh my gosh.
But in thinking about a new Nintendo system, we knew the prevailing thought
Oh, boy.
was this. Yes, the game will probably still be right for all of us, but could it also be a perfect fit just for you? And the answer to that question is an emphatic absolutely.
For one brief, interesting moment, I thought that the name of the system was going to be Wii Absolute. I thought that for a moment. And I remember there were rumors going around that the system was just going to be called the Nintendo. And the way, like, yeah, it was an interesting rumor, but, like, there were rumors that it was going to be called just Nintendo or Nintendo Entertainment System. Neither of those happened. Oh, boy.
In fact, we're so convinced of it.
Oh, boy. Here it
that we
comes.
put that pronoun right in the name. So today, welcome to the world of Wii U. It's a system we will all enjoy together, but also one that's tailor-made for you. The other word associations
Oh, boy.
are easy. Is it unique, unifying, maybe even utopian? The answer is also yes to all
Oh,
of this.
boy.
And here's the reason why. This is the new controller for Wii U.
Notice, he said the new controller for Wii U. He didn't say this tablet device is Wii U. He didn't say here's a new controller for Wii that has a touchscreen on it and it gives it HD graphics somehow through composite out cables. I have no idea how people thought that. But it's the new controller for Wii U. He says it. The new controller for Wii U. And people right next to me, hardcore gamers, people who know gaming news and are tech savvy, still came away at this moment thinking that this was just a new controller for the Wii. And mind you, basically everything about this system,
From anything
this is basically the system that Nintendo theoretically should have released back in 2006.
perfectly simple. All
Because people, before they revealed the Wii Remote, people were assuming they were going to have a touchscreen controller.
and it can change
Now, the sense of what a touchscreen controller meant back then was totally different. What they were thinking at the time was something like this with a little LCD screen in it that was, you know, a high resolution version of maybe the Dreamcast VMU with. And then to make it even worse, what is the first game they show running on Wii U? The first game they show. The first game they show looks indistinguishable from New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Indistinguishable. It is absolutely indistinguishable from a game that's already on the Wii. And even as I'm watching this, without being able to pause, I'm like, oh, look, there's the new console sitting there under the TV. I hope they show it up close, and they never do. and they kept showing, and like and yesterday we saw the reveal of Wii at E3 2006 on my stream. And so many times they cut away. They show the controller for the Wii, they show the Wii Remote and Nunchuck, then they zoom in on the console next to the TV. And the console wasn't even important in those shots. Here, they need to establish that it's a new console with a new controller, and they don't show the console up close once.
It's time to watch some baseball. Okay.
And a runner on second. Hernandez is on the mound, and here comes the 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. 98.
How about... What timing on that? What timing on that? Hold on. Hold on. We gotta... Let me control, please. Please let me control. Please let me... I can't access my, I can't do anything with the video right now, so... Oh, wow. Okay, everything's happening at once now. Okay. Okay. Right, so we get... Oh my goodness, this is so silly. I can't wait till I can get a computer that has more RAM. Yeah, now it's frozen here. I mean, my stream's still running. I could still, my webcam's still running, but I just have to wait for it to decide to start working again. Alright, here we go. Now, will you let me... It's playing again. Will you let me move the cursor? Will you let me move the cursor, game, TV? Or thing? Will you let me move the cursor? Please let me move the tracking on the... You know what? Forget it. Forget it. It's clearly not going to happen. This is a little loud, but there's nothing I can do at the moment. Now, the way, like, it's tracking, it's, like, magnifying the screen as they move around the gamepad. I don't know if they ever did anything quite like that. Out! I don't know if they ever did this specifically either. Oh wow, I can move the... Okay. The moment they cut to the Wii U gamepad, swing and a miss. How prophetic is that? That's all I wanted to show you. But, you know, my computer has to make it hard. And they did end up coming out with the Art Studio Academy thing. There we go. I don't know if they ever came out with this reversey thing. Alright. Yeah, so, this whole thing with... I remember a lot of people that I would consider otherwise relatively hardcore within the traditional gaming media being excited about the potential for this golf application. And being able to weigh yourself in Wii Fit without using the TV. That's a good practical application for this, but... How do you show all of this and not show the console once? Come on. Come on. Now, this never happened. This new version of the Zapper with a mounting bracket for the Wii U gamepad, that never happened. And notice this version of the Wii U gamepad, it's like taller than the final version. It's like, yeah, they shrunk it down a bit in terms of vertically. This became Takamaru's Ninja Castle in Nintendo Land. This became We Speak You, which I don't think was used all that often by a lot of people. And there's the web browser. Yeah, the screen on this prototype version of the controller is definitely a bit bigger. And this is... That's amusing, but it's not as useful as it seems. Now, here we go. Now, what we're about to see is the HD Zelda experience. This was running in real time on the Wii U. And this was, once again... This led to another... It didn't linger like with Wind Waker. But when they revealed Breath of the Wild... When they revealed... Well, before it's called... At E3 2014, when they revealed Zelda, there was some backlash from the terminally hardcore... dude bro crowd on certain gaming communities that, oh, Nintendo lied to us again with a realistic Zelda, and then they give us this cartoon crap. So, whatever. Now, I would like if they went back to the Twilight Princess art style in this manner, but I do also believe that Breath of the Wild was beautiful. They did manage to get this thing out by late 2012. Bloop. They didn't really keep that... Like, that bloop thing was... It seemed like they wanted to make that for Wii U what the click sound was for Nintendo Switch. They never really stuck with it.
But it probably raised several others.
Yes, and you're not going to answer them sufficiently.
Let me provide a little more explanation.
Not enough,
Up
sadly.
until now, home console games had to occupy the TV screen in order to be played. But the new controller for Wii U...
The new controller for Wii U.
...screen built in means you won't need to give up
Hold on.
your gameplay when someone else comes into the room and wants to watch a TV program. Of course.
Wii U screen size, that was 6.2.
So,
wow, how is...
Wii Remote Controller.
The final, I tell you straight up, they said 6.2. They must have changed the proportions of the screen. Like, it might have had the same dimensions, or the same screen size technically, but they had to have changed the dimensions, because that screen is definitely taller than the final version.
But this device is designed to appeal to all people, particularly the most experienced...
Yeah, I'm looking up to see what the screen size of Wii U was.
We believe you will love the variety of play controls enabled by the new controller. It includes 2 analog circle pads, a plus control pad, as well as both ZL and ZR buttons, and the addition of L and R buttons. Also,
And I think everyone misses Satoru Iwata.
but that's not all.
You know, there was a moment yesterday that was really sad where... No, it's something... yeah, just watch... I'm not just going to recap my entire stream. If you want to see it, you could check out my VOD yesterday, not to seem flippant, but it's just no point in re-describing my entire stream yesterday, but...
Just as with Nintendo 3D,
Yeah, I've still got that. I have the Miis of several people that I've met who are no longer with us in real life, and it's kind of awkward seeing them cheering for you on the sidelines in Mario Kart. But it's also kind of like nice, you know.
using both their hands. And
Where
those
is-
games, which can be played really intuitively without the need for any button or stylus input. However, please understand that it was not designed to be a portable video game machine.
Now listen to what he says right here.
It
Listen to
shares
that.
some characteristics. The images displayed on the new controller are generated only by Wii U. There is wireless...
The images generated on the new controller are produced only by Wii U. Alright? He says that. He says the images on the new control screen are produced only by Wii U. And somehow people still took that to think that to mean that this was a new controller for the Wii. Like, it was so... everything from what I see in my web view and in my broadcast software, as well as in my other browser where I just have a view of what a random person other than myself would see on the stream, all have the chat still up. So it might be something your browser did.
Transmitted without latency issues. You can play in a number of ways.
All right.
Connect with an HD TV in the traditional way, and you can enjoy the most up-to-date, high-quality HD image, even without using the screen in your hand.
I mean, they tried to make it clear, but they obviously didn't because there was so much confusion. I mean, they called it a new system, a new console, and a new platform 30 different times, but the fact that people still thought, like, yeah, I understood what was going on, but it's like... I mean, that wasn't really... I wouldn't call that... I wouldn't go as far as to call that the concept for Breath of the Wild, because that was real time, but that was, like, strictly just a graphical demo.
Only a few of the possibilities. We decided on this new structure for Wii U because...
Yeah, that was real time. You were able to adjust the lighting and stuff like that while that demo was running, to prove that it was running in real time.
And also similar one.
I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with...
your friends and your family all interacting in the same room.
99% of my Wii U gameplay has been the Virtual Console. I'm just going to say that flat out.
The photos or videos you found online, or enjoying video chat on the Wii U controller, even while watching a TV program.
The idea of a white Wii U. Yeah, it's funny because my DS Lite and Wii were both white, so I thought, hey, if then my Wii U and my 3DS I'll both get the black models for them both. So.
Into gameplay. So let's hear first from the developer who has given the most thought so far.
I think his teleprompter might have hung up for a bit there.
Mr. Miyamoto.
Yeah, I got my Wii U in 2013.
We can make games that you play only in the palm of your hands, even when something else is on TV. And we can also make entertainment that uses both the TV and the smaller screen. It's up to the designers to decide how to use this.
And that was in addition to all the miscommunication. Now listen to what he's about to... we'll have him say that again. Listen to what Miyamoto says right here.
So,
he's going to say it again.
First, from the developer who has given...
And apparently this is the only console that Miyamoto personally oversaw the development of. Is because Yoshiyuki Koizumi oversaw the development of a Switch.
That you play only in the palm of your hand.
So listen to this. Listen to what he says here.
We can make games that you play only in the palm of your hands, even when something else is on TV. And we can also make entertainment that uses both the TV and the smaller screen. It's up to the designers to decide how to use this.
That, aside from all the miscommunication, I think is one of the fatal flaws of the Wii U concept. Because a game that uses intricate, novel, dual-screen mechanics that require both the gamepad and the television screen, and a game that can be played on one screen only on the gamepad, very few game designs are compatible with both of those concepts. And I think conceptually that's one of the most severe aspects that limited the possibilities for Wii U. And when they had success, I'm not going to take it out of the dock because I'm playing it right now to use versus pinball, but they decided, okay, we're going to focus on one of those two concepts. We're going to focus entirely on the ability to play without the TV. And that became Nintendo Switch, and they had their most successful system ever.
What is best for the games they're making. The hardware itself has the capability, so the games can be designed both ways. More than anything, I'm really looking forward to new styles of play in ways we haven't thought of yet. I think this has a lot of possibilities. And there are so many, we're just trying to decide where to begin. I think there won't be a shortage of ideas. I think as the third-party developers are also thinking up all of their own new ideas, then Our vision.
Oh, audio that came out of the Wii U gamepad. You couldn't use your headphones when playing Star Fox Zero? That's really odd. Oh, wait. So you couldn't change the volume of the audio that was coming out of the gamepad or use headphones with it? You could only use the headphones when you were playing fully off TV. That's, if I understand that correctly. It's very odd.
We are facing an unusual situation. And as a developer myself, I also feel this. New ideas are popping up one after another. And we are not alone. A few months
You have 20
ago,
minutes left in this presentation, about
I explained
50
the concept of Wii U to Mr.
hour.
Sakurai,
You have
who
20
was
minutes
developing
left.
Kid Icarus. We were discussing which platform his next game should be developed for Nintendo 3DS or Wii U. What Mr. Sakurai suggested
In
then
a space where you had to be quiet, so you never
was
got to fully enjoy the
a
game.
specific idea to make Smash Brothers for both Nintendo 3DS and Wii U. To make it work together on both platforms.
And wouldn't you know it, the final games ended up just being called Super Smash Bros. For 3DS and Super Smash Bros. For Wii U.
Kid Icarus, maybe I shouldn't go into any details today. But I think I have just promised you that Smash Brothers will be developed for Nintendo 3DS and for Wii U, and that the software will work together in some fashion. Of
Oh,
course,
we missed.
This is a product for the future. But here in LA, there is Wii U software.
Yeah, that was the last Smash Brothers game. Smash Brothers for 3DS is the last Smash Brothers game I ever bought. I didn't even get the Wii U version.
The stage and ask him to explain.
Thank you, Mr. Iwata. Stating that Wii U will change the way you play games is a pretty bold assertion. So this week, we're providing tangible proof. In the convention center, you're going to find 8 different interactive experiences. Now, please note,
A lot of these got to...
those from Nintendo
Okay, we'll let him
are
talk.
not prototypes of actual games. They're just interactive demonstrations. Let me show you just an early example of what this system can do.
Yeah, a lot of those interactive demonstrations ended up getting incorporated into Nintendo Land. Now this right here, there was a weird, like, mystery surrounding this tech demo right here. And it is believed that somehow Epic Games developed this on Unreal Engine 3, but for some reason was not able to disclose that formally. And I don't know the exact details of that. There was just a lot I was hearing behind the scene, like, not me personally, but a lot of stuff that was being whispered around that somehow Epic may or may not have been involved, some cryptic statements that were made, some teasing statements as to who made it, made by different parties. And it's like, yeah, this looks good, but this would have looked good in 2005. And I'm not saying that to disparage Nintendo, I'm just being real. Like, the Wii U is in the performance range of a system, of an HD system from 2005 or 6. It is, you know, there's certain processes, certain elements that are more capable just because it's newer hardware.
Let me highlight a couple of more experiences. And to do that, I'm going to focus on how the new controller can change things. The first is simple. Something that looks a lot like New Super Mario Bros. Wii, but in this conceptual state, it's being called New Super Mario Bros. Me.
Oh,
That's right.
in the Nintendo store, around me, everyone just moaned loudly, like, "Oh my gosh, what? Like, are you serious, Nintendo?" The most hardcore Nintendo fans, people who love New Super Mario Bros. Wii, it's like, "Hey, it's New Super Mario Bros. Me." And it was like, ugh. Yeah, a lot of them ended up as parts of Game & Wario and Nintendo Land.
Is called shield pose. And if you don't move the new controller back and forth, up and down, pirate arrows are going to come.
Yeah, because I mean they don't want to use guns and muskets, right? But since when are pirates particularly known for using arrows? And that's something I thought at the time I was first watching this. Got it. Pitch on some of my notes there. All right. This became Mario Chase.
Very different depending whether you're holding a Wii remote or the new controller. If you've got the new controller, you've got a bird's eye view of the four foes.
I mean, look at this right here. This right here should have. This is what. This should have been Pac-Man Versus. But how could they not have put Pac-Man Versus on this system? It is an outrageous shame. I would if they released Pac-Man Versus for Wii U and it cost $300 for the game, I would have bought it. Like,
on the ground are shooting up at a spaceship.
This got adapted into a Metroid tie-in.
Looking down, blasting away from his viewpoint. I'll warn you in advance. It's not easy, but man, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, Hangia.
What I've just described are prototypes, not actual games. But I can announce one title that is in development for
Look at what the first game they actually revealed for Wii U is.
will publish the Lego City Stories in partnership with TT Games.
Everyone moaned loudly at this point, but then when we actually saw it, we were like, we kind of understood what it.
In the Lego series,
At this point, there was still no reaction, but like.
copies in North America and Europe. More than half of those have sold.
When we saw this, we're like, oh, it's Lego Grand Theft Auto. We get it now. Okay. But the fact that this is the first Wii U game they revealed is kind of like interesting. This is a game I should get for Wii U. This is probably one of those games that was. I remember my friend had the Lego. Like I think what really started this new era, the current era of these Lego games was the Lego Island CD-ROM game for PC in the mid-90s.
But you don't have to take my word for it.
And my friend had it, and for some, and he also had Tomb Raider on PlayStation. Now I just want to say this real quick. This is so bizarre. For some weird reason, my friend had this idea in their head that somehow the Lego Island CD-ROM game contained the secret to unlocking the Lara Croft nude code in Tomb Raider 2. I don't know how he got this idea, but he decided that was real. And I remember playing I was just playing the game with him, and he was like, we have to find the codes to get the nude code for Tomb Raider. I'm like, that's not in the game. Why would they put that in a kid's game? What's wrong with you?
Together with the new controller, my mind immediately started racing to what
yeah, this 3D Shockwave browser game called Lego Studios or something.
Shock and amazement.
Yeah, all these developers who barely did anything. Ken Levine was in one, and
This new controller really
okay,
revolutionizes
here's
gameplay.
Yves Guillemot.
Advanced graphics.
Yeah, Warner Brothers Interactive brought the Arkham, Arkham Asylum to the Arkham City to Wii U a year later. What is Ken Levine doing here? And not in this version, but there's another interview he did for Wii U where he actually shows footage of BioShock Infinite and says, hey, you know, it would be really great if BioShock Infinite could be on Wii U. And they never did, he didn't do anything with Wii U. Now, Nintendo Switch, is BioShock, I have to actually, if BioShock is out, that's a game my dad never played, and I know he'd love it, because he loves like Metro. Hold on. Is BioShock out for Wii? No, not out for Switch. Is BioShock out for Switch?
Full experience that's getting streamed. You know, I have a little headphone. My wife will be asleep, and I, put in headphones and play a full like hardcore.
Oh, BioShock is already out on Switch. Okay.
On this, on this smaller screen, that's a really revolutionary thing for me as a gamer.
But it also means we can make.
It's a 30 gigabyte download, huh?
It's a phenomenal piece of technology.
Is there a physical version of it?
I think that's going to really revolutionize what's happening in console.
If there's a physical version of it, I'll buy it physical and mail it to my dad.
Darksiders 2 on the new console at launch.
You have to download 30 gigabytes even with the physical version. And that, in my opinion, then it's not a physical version. It's just a cartridge, a pointless cartridge that lets you...
Just imagine what the multiplayer will look like with multiple screens. And our Ghost Recon Online will leverage...
That Ghost Recon Online didn't even happen on Wii U, if I remember correctly. If the physical requirements has a 30 gig download, then how much of the download is the digital only version? Because my father would love Portal, and he'd love BioShock, and he has a Switch, and I don't think he's even heard of either of those games before, because he loves games, but I introduce and recommend him most of the games he plays. Here we go. Here's the sizzle reel. I mean, this is an old game at this point. Well, like, no, was this out already on other systems? But I know, like a lot. At the moment they announced all this, it was a big deal just to see this stuff coming out on a Nintendo system, whether it was a new release or not. And you want to hear something messed up? What was it? What was that game? There was some racing game. Was it? I forgot what it was called. But it was before this E3 even happened. And it was the first third-party game. It was the first game to have a promotional material and display the Wii U logo saying, like, coming to Wii U. And they did it specifically to get a bunch of attention. And then, they ended up delaying, and they eventually canceled the Wii U version of the game. And it's like, yes, business-wise, I understand, yeah, you know, Wii U wasn't a viable platform, whatever. And they were probably having trouble getting to run on Wii U as well. However, the fact that the only reason I heard of this game was the fact that it was the first game to have the Wii U logo on its promotional material. And so they did that because the other systems, other 8th generation systems, weren't even announced yet. So, like, they did that specifically to, yeah, they did that specifically to get attention and headlines, and then they just cancel the version when it's no longer convenient. That aspect I found annoying. I believe there was some trailer for this that actually called it Tekken Wii Successor, because the final name of the system wasn't revealed yet. Yeah, like, there's nothing particularly extraordinary about this lineup, but just the mere fact that these games were being published for releasing on a Nintendo system was kind of a statement in and of itself.
Everything you see this week is just the first pass. We've got a lot to look forward to when they arrive in final.
All right.
I'm very happy that so many developers...
This is one of the only times, I think this might be the only time that Mr. Iwata and Reggie were both on stage at the same time.
The one we were proposing with Wii U. It can satisfy all tastes with deeper gameplay action and wider. To lend one final perspective, we have invited Electronic Arts, the most successful independent publisher in industry history, to join us on stage. Please join me in welcoming the CEO of EA, Mr. John Riccatello.
Yeah, this is... Here we're going to see some, like... Some, like, Machiavellian, like, backstabbing maneuvering. Some real horrible backstabbing, conniving, rotten activity. Everything he's saying here is a lie.
Based on a stunning breakthrough in game technology. What Nintendo's new console delivers speaks directly to the players of EA Sports and EA Games.
Every word is a lie. Oh my gosh.
Console will produce brilliant high-definition graphics and new gameplay opportunities. We look forward to seeing great EA content on this new platform.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Playing football with the
Yeah, imagine.
controller that takes all that data, all of that play calling off the big screen, leaving you with a sharper, more personal, more immersive HD experience. Imagine a shooter like Battlefield with jaw-dropping graphics and smooth character
with jaw graphics. I don't know why. They never made me laugh, but imagine a first-person shooter with jaw graphics.
Imagine those games with an open online functionality that allows you to
Open online functionality. Now, I just want to stop and say that while it's fresh. Now, there are rumors from the time period that EA was trying to negotiate with Nintendo for... Yeah. No, and the thing is, that you'd expect them to develop on all the major systems, but he's totally blowing... He's basically saying all this based on the assumption that Wii is going to be as big of a success as... he's basically saying all this based on the assumption that Wii U was going to be as big of a success as the original Wii, and it's going to be a free meal ticket for EA. And what EA ended up doing was releasing ports of old games, like year-old games, worse and more expensive versions of games that you could get newer and better and less expensive versions of on other systems. And when those few games sold poorly, they're like, oh, that's it. Like, yeah, there are games that don't sell good on Wii U, and the games that we released fulfill the unprecedented partnership that we talked about at E3 2011. And there's also rumors that EA was trying to corner Nintendo into making their Origin platform be the online infrastructure for the entire Wii U console, and that when Nintendo declined that, EA was like all mad, and that's another reason they pulled out prematurely.
Participate in a global community.
Now, the problems with Wii U, the whole mess that EA pulled are not the reason that Wii U failed, but they're another part of the story, because even if EA fulfilled their promise, Nintendo, their poor communication, poor conceptualization, unfortunately just gave the Wii U a uphill battle from day zero here.
Imagine these EA games on a console with content, gameplay, and community that can be extended to mobile, social networks, as well as the web.
And him saying that might mean that EA was aware of some of the concepts that became Miiverse.
We're changing games from the thing that you buy to a place that you go.
And
Nintendo's next console is truly transformational.
And hearing this from EA, who pretty much ignored the Wii for the most part, like there was this, as he was saying this in the Nintendo store, there was this vibe within the audience that like wow, this is a real turning point for Nintendo. They're going to be not only just for Nintendo fans, just for the ultra casual, but to be elevated into the core of the mainstream gaming community as well. And his words really did change the vibe amongst us viewing the press conference.
I want to conclude this morning by asking you to consider 4 platforms: Nintendo DS, Wii, Nintendo 3DS, and Wii U.
And those together with GameCube and GBA and GameCube made 3 sets of paired console and handhelds, which eventually ended kind of with Nintendo Switch, where they merged into one platform.
Innovation. The 2 screens and touchscreen of Nintendo DS changed gaming. The motion control of Wii changed gaming. Last year, in this theater, you found out that glasses-free 3D could change gaming. And now, there is Wii U. This week, you'll have the chance
Man,
to
look at
hold
that ball.
Wii
Get
U's new
yeah, rack up those 1,000
in your
points. I don't mind one bit.
and find out
I don't mind that I'm
what
not doing
happens
anything down here.
when a second window opens to your game world. Our presentation this morning is just the beginning. And the experience continues right now, whether you're here in the Nokia Theater or watching online. If you're here on site, hands-on begins with those key new Nintendo 3DS games.
No. Okay, they
As
fell.
soon as you walk out the doors behind you and outside to the same tables where you checked in. It's a special chance to get a jump start on the show. When you're over at the convention center, there's also hands-on with 8 Wii U experiences, as well as a celebration of Zelda, the 25th anniversary celebration of Zelda. And for all of you who've been watching online, first of all, thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
And
no
secondly,
problem.
consider this. This year, the Nintendo Network is back at E3, and it's even better. Our crews will be waiting in the line so you won't have to. And here's what they'll bring you. Daily
Despair.
updates, exclusive content for game
No.
fans around the world, interviews with key developers, and an in-depth look at our revolutionary new controller for Wii U.
Controller for Wii
The
U.
newest game trailers and game guides for titles we announced today. It truly is material you won't see anywhere else. So please check
Yeah, and
back
back when,
regularly at
before they Nintendo Network became the name of their online service, it was their E3 coverage sort of branding.
at home or on-site here in LA. You've got incredible new game worlds to explore this week. On behalf of all of us, thanks for your attention today, and let the exploration begin. Enjoy the show.
All right, so that's E3 2011.